Maria and Angel were a little over 19 years old when they decided to live together in a small room in the center of the capital of Chile. The situation was not easy from the beginning. Maria saw a different world from Angel's. Maria's family was wealthy, with several properties in the country. Her father was one of the most influential people in the medical field of the state, and Angel came from a humble family, accustomed to fighting for their daily bread and always alert to any work opportunity that fate could offer. However, Maria's father had not always had a great fortune. Mr. Alonso also knew, at some point in his life, what it meant to wake up in the morning without anything to eat. Alonso, Maria's father, grew up in a home for fatherless children called Casa Don Bosco. He had been there since he was very young until he was 11 years old, when a wealthy family adopted him. Since then, Alonso had better opportunities to excel. Although he experienced scarcity firsthand, he was determined to have a full life at any cost. Alonso dedicated himself to his studies from a young age and was also a sports fan, forging a strong personality to achieve all his goals. Thanks to his efforts in studying, he obtained excellent grades, which earned him a scholarship to England. It was there that Alonso formed his favorite group of companions, obtained a scholarship to study, learned English, and surrounded himself with medical groups from which he absorbed everything he needed. Although he understood the difficulties faced by those with limited resources and empathized with others, he did not agree with his daughter's relationship with the young Angel. Just as he recognized the misfortune for everyone, he decided that his daughter should have a different life from his. "Daughter, I have nothing against this young man, but you have a whole life ahead of you, things to discover. This young man will be something temporary. Please understand, you are destined for great things. Dad, I know how much you love me and how much you want to take care of me, but Angel is who I love, who I want to be with. Dad, let me live my way. Let me make mistakes on my own once in a lifetime." Maria and Angel met when they were 18 years old, and during a year of relationship, Alonso resisted their union. At first, he even facilitated some help for Angel's younger brother. Young Angel lived only with his mother and his younger brother, who was sick. Angel's mother, Martina, worked double shifts at the restaurant where she worked to cover part of the household expenses. When Angel reached an appropriate age, he asked his mother to let him work to help at home while he devoted himself to his studies. But Martina did not agree. "Son, you have no idea what money does to people. I don't want you to love money before finishing your studies. I want to see you grow up because you are a great son, my boy. But how do you think I can be calm when you carry all the burden of us and the house? I can't bear it. I want to see you smile more often. I want you to rest too. I want to help my little brother. My goal is to finish college. Mom, I have no doubts about that." When the situation for Maria and Angel became more difficult than they expected, they thought for several days about making a decision that would change their lives. Maria and Angel were willing to leave home and live on their own. They wanted to prove that they were capable, self-sufficient, and knew what they felt for each other. Maria left a letter for her father before leaving home, with a few things in her backpack, some money she had saved, and food. "Dad, I hope you forgive me for what I'm about to do. You taught me what is right and wrong, and I want you to know that I'll be fine. I'll write soon. I love you, Dad." Angel did the same when leaving school. He walked 6 kilometers to the place where his mother worked. She greeted him with a hug and a kiss on the cheek. "Son, what a surprise. What are you doing here? Are you hungry? I'll order something to eat." "It's okay, Mom. No need, I've already had lunch. I just came to see you and give you a hug. I don't know. I thought it wouldn't hurt to give you a surprise." Angel smiled reluctantly, hugged his mother, and kissed her on the forehead. "I love you, Mom. See you at home." Angel left the restaurant, and his mother couldn't help but feel that something very strange was happening with her son. When she arrived home late at night, she found a note on the table. That's how Maria and Angel left home and settled in a small room downtown. Their lives went on as usual. They went to school in the morning and prepared their lunches. Angel continued to work part-time at a print shop, and the money, at least, was enough for savings. Maria, on the other hand, got a job at a small fruit shop near home and also worked part-time. With this money, they could pay the room rent. On the other hand, Alonso couldn't believe what was happening, but he knew that sooner or later something similar could happen. He adopted an alert posture, but before panicking, he remained calm. His first action was to locate Angel's mother, but surprisingly, Angel had also left. This began to worry Alonso, as he didn't know where his daughter could be. Alonso decided to hire a detective specializing in missing persons. The detective's job was only to locate Maria and inform Alonso of the exact address where she was. A week passed, and the investigator already knew where they were. After all, they were just inexperienced young people and left many traces. The next day, he contacted Angel's mother and told her he had already found the two. However, a week later, both young men communicated with their parents, as promised. They told about the details and gave the address of where they were, near the city center. But this was just a facade, as both realized that Alonso was watching. Maria and Angel moved to the southern part of the city, close to the rural area. This time, they were much more careful, thinking that perhaps in a rural area, they would not be searched for, since they were away from the university. Alonso again lost track of Maria, but knew that if he found her once, he could find her again. Maria and Andel were facing a difficult time. The little money they had barely covered food, rent, and some university expenses. However, everything became more complicated when Maria noticed that her period was 2 weeks late. His world became chaotic. Maria was scared, thinking that perhaps her father was right and everything she did was crazy. Angel tried to console her, but Maria didn't listen. The days went by, and the young people had no way to pay for a medical consultation or exams. They were gradually doing checkups in public institutions, and the exams that needed to be paid asked for it as a loan from their boss. Maria's pregnancy continued its course, and she suggested that maybe this time they should call Alonso. Despite the fear, Maria tried to show her father that she could achieve what she set out to do. Months passed, and Maria's belly grew bigger and bigger. Maria and Angel remained together, helping each other, despite the fear. They stayed united. Angel asked his boss at the print shop for help, froze his subjects in the middle of the second trimester of pregnancy, and started working full-time and double to prepare for the arrival of their baby. He asked his boss to help him find a hospital where his son could be born and where Maria could receive good care. The boss didn't hesitate to help. Maria gave birth to a fairly large baby boy, and both parents were happy and at the same time scared. With what little they had, they bought something for the baby and food for themselves. More than 2 months passed, and Alonso discovered the whereabouts of the young people, who were now accompanied by a baby. Alonso felt that his life was falling apart, but he knew he needed to help his daughter. 2 months later, Maria and Andel felt defeated with caring for the baby, paying their bosses and buying food. Moreover, Andel was sleeping little due to work, and Maria couldn't sleep due to the baby's crying. After 10 nights of thinking and feeling miserable, Maria and Andel decided to leave the baby in a tunnel, 3 houses from a tunnel leading to the farm of an elderly couple. Alonso, who monitored the young people daily, saw when his daughter left the baby in that tunnel, covered with a blanket and inside a basket. He saw Maria cry inconsolably, and Andel hugged her. They stayed there for a few minutes and then left. Alonso picked up the baby, thinking that what his daughter was doing was the worst sin he could commit, but still thought it was not too late to learn the lesson. Alonso took care of the baby from that day on, protecting him in the foster home where he grew up. Monthly, he sent money to the institution with precise orders to take good care of that boy, for he was his grandson. Maria and Angel, from that moment on, were not the same. They did not blame themselves for what happened, but they regretted that great sin. They resumed their studies with little enthusiasm, and their relationship never returned to what it was. Angel returned home changed, sad, and guilty, But Maria couldn't face her father's face and decided to stay in her old room. She stayed there for 2 years. Alonso kept up with her and the grandson, who continued to grow up in the foster home. He helped his brother, left engineering, and graduated in psychology. This reached Alonso's ears, who offered to help him get a good job. During this time, Alonso asked Angel if he knew anything about Maria, but received negatives as an answer. Alonso decided to go look for his daughter and showed up at her door. "Dad, what are you doing here?" Before Maria could finish speaking, Alonso interrupted her. "Daughter, it's time to come home. I need you to come back with me because I miss you. I'm worried about you." "Maria, I don't hate you, I don't hold a grudge, and I've forgiven everything you've done. Daughter, I need you to come back because I want to show you something." And saying that, father and daughter hugged and cried. Maria was relieved and happy to see her father again. She went back home and dedicated herself to caring for the garden to relieve her sorrows. Alonso was with her during the healing process until 3 years passed. At that moment, Alonso said it was time to show her something he wanted to show her since the day he looked for her. "A person will come with us, daughter, and I hope you don't mind, but I hope you pay attention because we are going to visit someone very important." At the entrance of the house, Angel was standing, waiting. Alonso asked him to get into the car. Maria was completely stunned, not knowing what to say. Years had passed since the last time she saw Angel, and she thought he might not want to see her again. "Daughter, we made mistakes trying to take care of you and give you what we didn't have at the time. I only managed to hurt you. I will never forgive myself for that, but what I'm going to tell you now might have been told a long time ago. The place we are going is the place where I grew up. I was here until I was 11 years old. I just wanted you to know." They descended to Casa Don Bosco, and Maria was very surprised, as she never imagined that her father had been an orphan. Angel remained close to Maria, trying to say something he couldn't express. Alonso called the directorate and asked them to call the boy. Maria felt a strange sensation when the doors of that house opened, and a boy of at least 7 years old came out. Maria and Angel couldn't help but shed tears. "Children, I know what you did, and I won't blame you. I know that much of the blame is mine for being selfish, for denying you freedom. But I took care of this boy who is your son. Now it's up to you to decide what to do from now on. I've done my part." The boy approached slowly with a palette in hand. He looked at Maria, and his eyes widened. "You are my mommy. I have your picture." Maria and Angel could only cry without saying a word as the little one approached them. "Hey, don't cry. The teacher always says to ask God to heal us with a little cotton kiss." Maria hugged her son, and Angel knelt before them, asking for forgiveness. Later, Angel became one of Alonso's most important instructors, and Maria abandoned architecture to teach and give classes to young children. Maria and Alonso were still in the process of accepting each other, but they were both trying to make the life of that little world happy. Friends, we have reached the end of today's story. Remember that you can like this video, subscribe to this channel by activating the notification bell so you don't miss more stories like this one. See you soon. A big hug.